consent agenda. And if anybody has any questions on the consent agenda, otherwise I will entertain a motion to.
So I have a question, and it's only because I'm catching up from the weekend that I got to the detail this afternoon. I just had a question about the Cadwell gentleman.
Yep.
Was he an associate here? Has he ever been in the district before?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd recognize the name, but I couldn't place it, so that's all.
He'd be joining us from Sioux Valley.
Well, okay.
Personnel report looks pretty good. Where are we at as far as
We're full
awesome?
with our teaching staff. We have a few assistant coaches here, a couple extracurricular things, but our teaching staff is good.
I was happy to see that most of those names on there were also taking a coaching job. So
Yes.
feels good.
Are there any other questions on the consent agenda? Otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next agenda item, old business, HVAC roof repair update.
I don't have a lot to add. It's just that they are starting May 19th right away. Actually, over the weekend, I think they'll start moving some stuff in the staging area. Staging will be by the football field there. So we told the principals, talk to their staff about leaving that open if anybody comes in the summertime. They're going to get cracking right off the bat, so should be good to go.
Are they gonna stage what would be north of where that like basketball hoop is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. In that, whatever that parking lot area is. That's all I have on that. That's really a question.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that? Otherwise, we'll move on to new business. First item in new business is the second reading of the policy GCDB background checks.
Yes, if you remember right, that's a federal policy. They sent us the changes. We made those changes. My recommendation is just go with the changes that they have.
Okay.
Motion to approve. A second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next agenda item is the fiscal year 26 preliminary budget.
You have two handouts. The top one that I provided to you is a summary, just at the 1,000 level for revenues and expenditures. You can see that that budget is balanced on all funds. And then by function is the next document. That one's 3 pages long. It's a little bit longer, but it goes into a little more detail, same information though. As far as the capital outlay transfer, we are looking at 26.97% to general fund, which is a lot of improvement. Did a few different things to get it there, staffing, all of that.
For now. Let's see.
Yeah.
Our ADM does.
And then we have 4.5% that's used for contracted busing. So that puts our total at 31.47% of the 45%.
When we started looking at the budget 3 months ago, we started at 57.9%, which isn't even legal, but that's where we're at, so.
Working hard, but we got more to do, so.
What is the goal? Where would you like it to be?
Last month we talked about that 600,000 mark is around 25 to 27%.
Yeah.
So if we could be in that ballpark, I think that would be the best for us. I think that was kind of pretty much the consensus last week.
This
I
is,
mean, the goal would be 0, but.
Yeah.
that is it,
Well, because what's our max?
45%.
45, yeah.
Of that, 2,620,000 in capital outlay,
Yeah.
if it's all collected.
Right.
It's not all collected.
So you said we're roughly 32.
Yep,
So we're up there. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, basically, once you start getting to the range we're at, a big surprise basically pushes you right up to the limit. And
Yep.
then you need to reevaluate your next year and moving forward. So it's still doable, but yeah.
If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. All of this will change because it is preliminary, very preliminary.
And you'll have kind of the bigger planned budget for them in July.
Yeah, July will be your official budget hearing.
Right.
You have to have that before July 15th. So at the first July meeting, regular July meeting, we would have our official budget hearing. You don't have to adopt it until September, but we're usually ready to adopt at that time.
But then you'll get the whole overview of the, all line items. We'll get to the weekends.
Will you be needing to pull Jason and I in for any special?
I speak kind of for her, I guess.
Not if you don't want to. If you want to go into more deep depth, we can.
Okay.
You will get more information at the July meeting, all of you will.
Okay.
So, if that's enough.
That's good for now. I'm just glad to see that percentage is so much better than when.
Yep, we're in the right direction,
Yes.
for sure. Still work to do, but starting to go down the right track.
Then we throw some more students onto that. And then
That'd be
that helps
amazing.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Awesome, thanks, Keith.
yep, no motion needed, just
Okay,
writing.
any other questions on the budget? Okay, we will move on to the South Dakota High School Activities Association ballot.
Okay, so you guys, I sent those to you in the packet. I talked to Executive Director Swartos, and, nothing really tricky on the amendments. It's a lot of cleanup stuff and, kind of cleaning up some transfer things. There was kind of some weird transfer things where somebody tried to transfer mid-year, like lost the first round playoff and then tried to transfer to get to go to state tournament. So they're just cleaning up some of that stuff. So my recommendation is yes on all of those. And then, like I said before, my recommendation on the other ones, I believe is, can't see the, oh, there they are. Here we go. I know most of the people on these ballots, but I also tend to lean towards people in our area, just because they represent kind of our demographic. So my recommendation, Billy Clanton's the only one from Hardin County, on that one. And then I would recommend Ryan Rollinger from Harrisburg. Again, he's in our area. The next one would be Steve Moore from Sioux Falls Roosevelt. And then finally, Chad Allison from Lennox. Those would be my recommendations. So we do have to approve, we can approve those all in one deal.
So on the amendments, I completely agree. The details on that were awesome and it cleared up tons of stuff on transfer, move of actual residents and then the eligibility between schools and all that. So I have no issue there. The only question I had on the ballot was in the section where Ryan Rollinger, you're recommending, there was a lot of applicants. And one of them, this Brittany Idy, had a lot of fine arts background.
Sure.
And she had a lot of sports too, but she had fine arts pieces. And she also, seemed like she had been in different sized districts throughout her career. So I just didn't know if anybody else had read that. And I just wanted to have some conversation about that. Otherwise, I didn't have any issues with the recommendations. I was just curious about, and same with you, what if you had any feedback on her as well.
I don't know Ricky, so I don't be able to speak on, that would be my thing, but I'll do whatever.
Okay.
What school is she from again?
Right now, I think she's in Corsica, but she had taught at Mitchell, and there was one other school.
She the county one.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I remember who was it.
I don't think she was the Condi one. Actually, I should pull it up. I have it right in front of me. Sorry. So Corsica, Stigney,
Mitchell.
Mitchell. I thought there was a third one.
She had mentioned that it was in the Great Plains Athletic Conference.
Is this the board and the group that kind of decides like schedules for sporting events and would, when you say demographics, like, are you saying,
This gal specifically is for the East River at large to be filled by a secondary or assistant principal. And if I,
Yeah, so these are rotating
Yep.
positions on the executive high school activities board. I guess when I say demographics, I just mean they know our area. So when they would vote for things, they would be representing kind of what were things we deal with in Southeastern South Dakota.
things that would best benefit our.
Right.
city?
And I think they're probably all good people. I just don't, I don't know her.
Okay.
I know her.
In your experience, does this size of school being represented change the culture?
They-
All the names you said are big schools. and-
They have contingencies for that, like there's small school, big school,
Okay.
or medium school, big school, and it's on rotating, so like this could rotate to, if they have a large school principal, then they usually have a medium or small school superintendent, for example. And then they're all 3-year terms, so they have a rotating, so that they avoid that one demographic or size of school isn't overly represented versus another one not being represented.
Gotcha.
And I think that, yeah, like this one is for the East River at large. At large is like any school representative. This one was AD, District 1, District 3, secondary principal, assistant principal, that was Chad and Jeff.
Mhm.
And then small school group, school board member, which is Billy Klein from Hardin County. He was the only one on that ballot. So they do a pretty good job of sorting through that. Yeah.
So I will admit to not having done as much research as you. So
Okay.
if you want to amend that and make that the motion, I'm willing to second it. But I don't know enough to be the one to say, let's do it.
and that's
I
the thing,
trust your judgment. So.
I just was reading and I liked her variety of stuff compared to the other ones. And obviously you know the one, so I just didn't know what background there was here. So I don't know if there's any other feedback from the group. I don't feel strongly one way or the other. I just like the background. I wanted to ask questions.
I'm okay either way.
Okay.
If that's the direction we're going, that's fine.
It's literally a vote of all the schools of the state, so I mean, basically the cream rises to the top.
Sure.
I mean, if she's somebody that is well-liked and well-known,
Mhm.
yeah, she'll fly through, so.
Okay.
So if you want to make that motion with that amendment.
I guess for me, having read them, I would make that motion to change the one vote for that at-large East River to Brittany Ivy from Corsica Stickney.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So you got the motion that we made?
Yeah, you got it. No problem.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next agenda item is the superintendent report.
Okay, we've got a couple things. State track, golf, softball, coming up here in the next few weeks. It's kind of a weird year because most of them are, or all of them are way after the end of the school year. So that's a little bit of a unique situation. We're working on the summer maintenance schedule. John does a great job of that, working with his guys and gals and making sure that we're getting some of that done sooner than later. Biggest thing just to present to you today, it's an extra sheet here. Just wanted to go through what we talked about with classified staff as far as correct terms, negotiations or not. too many things, yeah, that one. So after meeting with all those groups, 2% increase in wages, just like everyone else. Their insurance contribution will go up from 563 to 591.25. It'll put them on par with every other employees when it comes to their insurance. Associates, we talked about, I talked with Matt and Jared about, they wanted kind of some opportunities that the certified teachers have when it comes to possibly earning some extra personal leave. And then also the catastrophic sick bank, they wanted that. We talked to them about, the teachers wanted them to join theirs, but what we made them aware of is that the dollars aren't the same, certified staff dollar amounts. Now you're not trading apples and apples there. So we said, come up with, one similar. So we showed them the teachers ones, they put it together. We were okay with that. So that's new. We talked to our assistants, in particular, Heidi and Connie, and just about having some flexibility in the summertime leave. They'll work the same amount of hours, but it might not just be, day A, day B, and then half a day C. They'll have some flexibility. I said, that's fine with us as long as you're, put in the hours that you're gonna put in and make sure those are posted somewhere. But as far as flexibility, we were fine with that.
That's the biggest thing that we've had problems in the past, is basically the public being able to reach the secretary. So as long as there's a place that everybody can go to find out what hours they can call.
Yeah, we totally agree.
Because it's especially big for new people in the town, that want to enroll their kids or want to tour the school. I mean, we don't want to seem like we're closed, so.
Yeah, it has to be advertised well to work well.
Right, yeah.
If it's not working, then we'll address that.
So we said the same exact thing, we're okay with that. And then, one area that we did bump up is be able to accumulate some vacation time. I don't know when was this was looked at or when it wasn't, but like 260-day employees already had this new one. So this is a little bit of a longevity bonus as well. So 3 to 10 years, it was 6.75 hours if they accumulated a max of 80. This would be 11 to 25, would be 10 hours, 20, 26 years, and on blah, blah. Currently, it's 6 hours, max of 72, 8.75 hours, max of 104, 11.5 hours, max of 126. So it would bump that up a little bit here and there, but it's been a long time since it's been addressed, and we were okay with that too. So not a lot of significant changes, but nonetheless, there's some there. So that's what we're gonna go with, unless you guys feel like there's something else that you don't want to do, but just a little bit of report on that. And that's all, and that's last time.
Yep.
And that's all I have.
Okay. The next agenda item is board comments. Do we have any committee reports, comments?
For policies, I saw that we got some changes that came through a policy alert. Change from.
ASBSC, I haven't had a chance to read, I didn't look at it.
Yeah, I figured we're going to be scheduling, committee meeting, but I just wanted to make sure that we kind of keep those on our
Yeah, you bet.
awareness list. I didn't look at them too closely
Yeah.
because it was last week.
I got you. I'll take a look. I didn't see anything glaring as far as policy we already have.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay, I guess, I'm on Prairie Lakes, and we did finish negotiations with school sites, so yeah, we're pretty much on par with everything else. We're at I think it's a 2% increase for the sites, and the only addition is we were short 25 days in the whole system, so we're offering 110% daily rate of pay for those extra 25 days. We're just trying to hope we can get it within the sites that we have. Everybody basically, they'll work a Friday and then their office day would be a Saturday, so basically then they would just get paid an extra day during that week, but I think they were gonna try and limit it to 10 days maximum, so we didn't have one site basically doing all 25 and getting burnt out, so.
Just for a reminder, how do we fund that collaborative?
It's basically billed out, for usage, I guess you might say.
By day, it's by the day.
Okay.
So like we might use 4.375 days or something, and then it's just at their day rate.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's 11 schools, I think, that are involved in it.
Oh, yeah, I think that's about right.
But yeah, it's basically divided out, whatever the administrative costs are, and then the site costs, it's all divided out amongst the schools based on their usage of sites, so.
And then we use them for good care,
Yeah,
for
there's,
OT and OT and PT.
Speech.
We have our own speech, we have
Oh, yeah, that's
OT,
right.
PT, and
PT.
I think that's it. OT,
Yeah, with
PT,
good care, and we pay directly to
and
good
special
care.
services, but I think it's only us and Garrettson and Flanders, who's the
Yeah.
ones that use it for, that use that.
so. That's all that's been going on with that. That was kind of a little exciting towards the end, but I mean, had some sites that didn't want to sign before we had negotiations done, and so we got it all done. Okay. So anyway, does anybody else have any more comments? Otherwise, our next agenda item is an executive session for South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-5, Section 5.
I'll move to go into executive session pursuant to
Okay,
strategies.
I will second that.
okay, we've got a motion and a second to move into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. We are now in executive session and there will be no action afterwards.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.